welcome to another episode of our show, Storytime with Becky. Today we're going to be talking about baby St. Mary. And believe it or not, her story was so special way before she was even born. What do you think her life was like before she became the Mother of God? How do you think she lived day to day? What do you think her everyday life was like? She had a very special story even before she was born, and we're going to know all about it right now. There was a man named Joachim, and he was married to a woman named Anna. And they were married for a very long time. They loved each other very much. They loved God very much. But they couldn't have a child. After many years of being married, they still didn't have a child, and they didn't know why. They thought maybe God was punishing them over something. They didn't know exactly why God chose them to not be parents. But Joachim and Anna just had the sadness in their heart. They wanted a child that would bring them joy, and that was the only joy that could really fill that hole in their heart. So Joachim, after many years of him and Anna praying to God for a child and still no child, he went up to a mountain. And he decided he wanted to go up to this mountain to get as close to God as possible. He knew that God was not within reach, but he still wanted to try to get as close to him as possible. So Joachim went by himself, and he was praying on this mountain, shouting to God, trying to get close to God, speaking from his heart, when God allowed Archangel Gabriel to come to him. Archangel Gabriel told him, God has heard your prayers. Trust me, believe me, he has heard them. Each and every single prayer you've ever made over the years, God has heard them, and he's honoring your promise. He wants to give you a child. This child will be the delight of your heart. It will be the best thing that ever came into your life, and it will bring you so much happiness. Your child, because God knows how pure and loving you and Anna are, is going to bring salvation into this world. What does salvation mean? That's a big word. Salvation means to be saved. Saved from all sin. Saved from all terror. Saved from every bad thing. The whole world is going to be saved through Joachim and Anna's baby. Joachim ran home, and he was so happy to tell Anna the good news. They started crying together, and it was just the happiest moment of their life. They promised God that they would raise this baby in the temple, that this baby would know God and live by God's word each and every day because of this wonderful blessing that he gave them. So a few months later, Anna gave birth to a baby girl, and they named her Mary. A few years after Mary became an older child, they took her to live in the temple, and they followed God, the promise that they told God that they would abide by. Mary grew up in the temple, and she was humble and sweet and loving. Everybody in the temple loved her. Mary volunteered to do the littlest things that no one else wanted to do. She would pick up the trash, she would sweep the floors, she would mop. She would do the littlest jobs that seemed so tedious and so dirty, but she didn't care because that was her service to God. And God saw it and rewarded her for it. He took this offering from Mary because she had such a simple heart, and she did every service with all of her heart and wanted to glory God in everything that she did, that God said that she was very, very, very special. He knew that he had a big, special purpose for her, even when she was just a little girl. What can we learn from St. Mary as kids? St. Mary wasn't a woman before God decided to use her as a special person. God knew exactly what kind of person she would grow up to be, but he didn't wait until she was older to use her to bring Jesus into the world. God used St. Mary as a child to bring love into other people's lives, to be an example of pure and innocent love. A love that gives without receiving, a love that is obedient, a love that supports other people and lifts them up. She was a joy to everybody, and just as St. Mary was a joy to everyone around her, we should act as a joy, true Christians, and be a joy to other people around us as well. Thank you for watching another episode of Storytime with Becky. I'll see you next time.